Hey everyone, welcome back to Just Being Booky. In this week's video, I am doing a review of the book that I just finished, the first Wings of Fire book. This was on my mind, or has been in my radar, I guess you could say, for quite a while now because it is very popular. I'm always either super duper late to the popular things or never read them because I either don't like them until they're not popular anymore because the popularness actually turns me away from it in most cases, or it's just a really long time until I get into it, and then I'm like, oh, it's popular now. Okay. Oh wait, like 3 months later, I might actually kind of like that. That's just how I work. But then I found it at the thrift store, and I figured may as well try it out, right? All right. In this video, it's spoiler free. In tomorrow's video, I'm going to be posting a spoiler one, though. I'll be going a little bit more in depth. But for now, let's just get into the basic review. I will say it was really good. I loved the dragons in there and the detail that they put into each of the different characteristics and everything like that. The names were super cute. So basically, you follow Clay and his friends. Some of the friends' names are Sunny, Tsunami, Starflight, Glory, and there are a few others that I currently cannot remember. But basically, they're part of a Dragonette prophecy, which I think Dragonette is basically like a young dragon in this book. And they've been kept basically underground and in hiding because of the dragon clan wars above the surface. And then they end up trying to escape, and then they run into all sorts of problems, and then things get a little extra interesting. I will say it is slightly more intense than I originally anticipated for the reading age that it is typically drawn to. Especially like in the first few pages, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty intense already. Like it wasn't major, but like more intense than I was expecting, personally. But yes, it was really good, and I definitely enjoyed the way that it described things. Seeing things from a dragon's direct point of view in the dragon world is actually a new thing for me. I usually see things from the human perspective when dragons are introduced to their world, but this one is basically the opposite. The first couple of chapters, I was having a hard time actually imagining the dragons as dragons. I kept kind of accidentally seeing them as humans in certain points. It's kind of like when you are reading a book and your brain naturally comes up with a look for them, but then you realize, oh, the description actually says they look like this. And in those cases where the character looks different, usually you can just bypass that. But I can't really imagine it's a human when it's definitely a dragon. And I wasn't wanting to either. It's not like, oh, I prefer the humans better. Actually, it's usually the other way around. But generally speaking, this was a really good book. So the only thing I didn't like was there were a little too many in between surprises. I think it would have been a little easier if there were a little less, especially considering that a lot of them were like almost back to back, and so it was a little too bam bam bam. Sometimes you need a little in between time. You can't drag it out too much, otherwise readers will be like, why didn't you say something sooner? But it felt a little too clustered, especially because most of the things were realized like halfway through the book or later, and so it was okay. I mean, that wasn't enough to turn me off. I'm definitely looking forward to hopefully either finding the next books in the series or getting some at Barnes and Noble because I am wanting to read more. And definitely the same thing as what I was saying with the characters. The way that the dragons are described, some of them I can see in the way that they are described in show, actually in the illustrations at the beginning of the book. Other times it just morphs into what I naturally see, which is okay because, I mean, that's what you normally do. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But if you have read Rings of Fire and enjoy it as well, or you haven't and now you're interested in reading it, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you thought of it too, because I am curious to hear some personal opinions. Anyway, I will now stop recording and record my spoiler one that goes a little more in depth, and you guys will see that tomorrow if you have read it. I do not want you to watch the spoiler alert one before you have read it, because obviously, spoiler alert, like what's the fun in that? But anyway, I will see you guys next week or tomorrow in the next video. Okay, bye.